No way.
Ladies and gentlemen, get ready.
Allegedly, when I was his age, I had a guitar and a beer in a hand. I mean, allegedly.
Get set.
We're back. We're doing it for real. And we're only moving forward. So with that being said,
It is time for the Ready, Set, Radio Podcast.
Jingle bells, J-Dub smells, the beard and floaty ran away. Welcome to the Ready Set Radio Podcast.
That was a good one, dude.
Yeah, thanks. My name is Floaty. That's Beard across from me. On the buttons, as always, is Dubs. Today, we have a fantastic musical guest with us, Sam Henley. Everybody give it up for him, please.
Yay. Thank you, John.
So, I don't know.
That was loud.
I don't know what J-Dubs told you to expect from today's episode, and racking my brain, thinking ways to talk to you today.
If I may, I'd like to ask the first question.
Please do.
Have you ever been on a podcast before?
Nope.
Sweet.
First time.
Yes, this is
Nothing to compare it to.
Yep.
All right.
This is the world's best podcast. We never have any mistakes, as you saw.
Never,
Yeah.
not one.
Never 10 minutes
Everything
of dialing
works
it
flawlessly
in.
the first time, every time.
60% of the time.
But we all, the three of us know you.
Being generous, actually.
The three of us know you as an exceptional guitar player in our music scene.
Indeed.
And I used to be a guitar player in our music scene. And I was trying to think of my side of the conversation coming into this. And I was like, it's actually kind of interesting now because I went from 20, 30 years of playing guitar and that being my entire life, my personality was being a guitar player in a band. And now I've been playing drums for like 5 or 6 years. And it's like I don't know how to talk about guitar. So
Well, I think in another life, I probably was a drummer.
Yeah.
But I enjoy playing guitar, and it's what I do. But whenever I listen to drums, what really grabs me are the drums.
that's exactly what I tell people, that if I could have run around the front of the stage headbanging with a drum set, I would have played drums. But you can't do that. So I picked guitar, even though my whole life, I've never been an air guitar player. I've always been an air drummer. It's always been my favorite instrument, and it still is. And I've had this crazy passion for it that I used to have for guitar. But now with guitar, it's like I pick it up and play stuff I used to know, and I'll learn stuff that our band plays, even though I'm not playing it live.
Right.
Just, because I hear it so much. I'm like, how's that one go? Cool.
Whenever I was younger, I used to keep a pair of drumsticks down beside my seat. And whenever I'd be at a stoplight or something,
Yeah.
I'd pull them out and
That's always
literally
fun.
drum on the steering wheel with sticks. And then light would turn green, I'd put them back down there.
I sent
go
my
the
wife
next
a TikTok. Somebody created a little dash mount symbol that you can just smack with your finger. It just sits there.
Put it on the Christmas list.
I think I'm gonna get one. I'm gonna check my stocking. So thank you for being. This is our first December episode, right? Or
Yeah,
second?
because
Yes.
we got started.
Awesome.
If you count Floaty and the Beard and some of the stuff that didn't get aired, then we're coming up on a year, but we never did anything Christmas stuff.
No.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we revamped our show after
Couple
20
times now.
some. Yeah. And we're glad that we did.
Yeah.
So I guess I wanted to get all the generic questions out of the way, the things that everybody always talks about. But like, how'd you get into music? What was your first guitar experience like?
Yeah. How old were you? All that.
So my first guitar experience wasn't until quite a while through my childhood. My dad was a musician, and he was a pianist and keyboard player, and couldn't read a lick of sheet music, but he had perfect pitch.
Nice.
So he could, and was the synesthesia type. So we'd be riding down the road, and he'd hear somebody hit their car horn, and he'd be like, "That's a G sharp and a F sharp."
That's fantastic.
Like right next to each
Wow.
other, and then he would know what they were. I thought I was gonna be some hot shit whenever I came home from
If only,
leading up into 6th grade. Whenever it was time to be in the school band, they wouldn't. I had an uncle that played saxophone with my dad, and all I wanted to do was play saxophone. And they wouldn't let us. They made us start off on clarinet because it's a reeded instrument, and they wanted you to figure out how to get your mouth is called your embouchure, right, and
Right.
be able to play the reeded instrument. And I hated clarinet.
Is that
But
really, really beneficial to switch into sax, like learning that first?
I don't think so.
I feel like that's just gatekeeping kids
That's
from
what it
doing.
felt like.
Because I got gate kept because I went to private Catholic school, and then when I finally came to public school in 8th grade, I didn't have 7th and 6th year band prerequisite, so I wasn't allowed to join the band. And when I got to high school, I didn't have middle school, and they wouldn't let me join it then. So I had to go my entire life without playing in the damn marching band, and I always wanted to.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned gatekeeping. It kind of was like that because once we started off playing clarinet, they said, okay, in 6 months, we're going to have a playing test. and anybody that wants to play saxophone has to take part in this playing test. And I made it just by the skin of my teeth. And I was the last person chosen to switch to saxophone. But then I loved playing the saxophone. So every night I was going above and beyond what the practice schedule was. And I went on the first playing test after that from last chair to first chair.
Oh, wow.
Boom.
Which is where I stayed. Even going into high school, they, of course, put all the seniors and juniors up towards the front until the playing tests happened. Right. And then when the playing tests happened, made the jump again. And that's what I really loved. But somewhere in there, in my 7th grade year, is my best friend since I've been 6 years old. He got a guitar for Christmas, and he had started taking guitar lessons. And he'd call me up in the evenings, and he'd be like, check out what I learned. He'd be like,
yeah.
Cashmere.
And now here we all are, degenerates with no money, no lifestyle.
That's right.
Dang.
Yeah, that's not far off at all.
That's true.
And so after about a month and a half of him every single day, I just learned this song. And they're all songs that I loved.
Yeah.
So I was like, I know we have a guitar in the house.
Yeah.
So I went down to my dad. I was like, Dad, I'm not okay with him being able to do this really cool thing that I can't do.
Yeah.
Show me the guitar. And
awesome.
he was like, okay. He was like, most people are going to teach you G, C, and D. He's like, but here's E, A, and B. And I didn't know the correlation between them. And like, I would later find out that it was the same chords in the structure, what they call a 1-4-5.
1-4-5.
And but just in a different key.
Yep.
I didn't know that. But when he showed me those 3 chords, I started buying Guitar World and Guitar One magazines.
And those Guitar World stacks just kept
I've
growing.
still got them.
Oh, man,
yeah,
Oh, wow.
they're in boxes. Like,
I'd be interested to see that.
I would love to see those.
Yeah, some of them are like 1997 issues.
Damn, I wish I'd have brought. I would have told you to bring those.
Heck yeah.
I stopped getting it probably 5 or 6 years ago. When I don't know if it's actually still a magazine. I know they still do the website for
online.
it.
I'm not sure if it's actually. I haven't seen a magazine.
Actually, I haven't seen a magazine rack, but I'm pretty sure they do because Diamond,
yeah,
was just on the not like the cover, but the first page. And
shout out Diamond Row and Tetrarch.
Yeah, no doubt.
Great band, doing great things.
Yeah,
that chick is so awesome.
She's amazing.
Speaking
They're
of
amazing.
magazines, y'all remember Hit Parader?
Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah. Revolver.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, but Hit Parader I felt was always a little more edgy.
Yeah.
Especially with Manson, they put a lot of Manson pictures in
Hey,
there. That was
stay on that camera. Stay on that camera for a second, ladies and gentlemen. Look at how wonderful J Dubs and Beer decorated this set. That's a great shot right there, guys.
Hallelujah.
I mean, they did the lights and everything.
Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, you filthy
Hey,
animals.
just giving you some flowers. You're doing a good job. You dick. Back to the conversation. So,
Damn, let's do it.
outside of bands in school, what was your first live performance experience?
I was terrified, but it was a guitar thing.
Okay.
And so whenever I was 14 years old, so I started playing guitar at 12 with my buddy. And then it was me, him, and a guy that was like our brother, but not biologically related, but that lived with my friend. The 3 of us were like, we're going to start a band.
That's how it starts.
We did. We didn't have a drummer. We had 2 guitars and a bassist, and we had no drummer. So we got asked by some friends of ours if we would play at what was going to be the North Carolina Student Council Convention, which was being held at what would then be my high school. Wow. So I'm maybe it was my freshman. No, this was before I was actually in high school too. So we were like, okay, we'll do it. We were terrified. We didn't have a drummer. And so we reached out to, there was a guy that played guitar in our school jazz band. His name was Lee Byerly. And then his younger brother, Caleb, was like 11 at the time. And we were 14, 15 or so. But he could shred on the drums. Absolutely. So we're like, hey, you want to come play this gig with us? He's like, yeah, that's cool. So we had one rehearsal with him before that. And then he was like, all right, I'm ready. We're like, yeah, you're ready.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, you are. So we go there. We set up. They're having their dinner function or whatever it was. We go and set up in the high school theater, and then we go to have food. whenever empty while we're setting up.
Right.
Whenever we come back, we enter in through the art room, which was the backstage area, and then we can just hear
Murmur. Yeah.
out there, and curtains closed and everything. And should have never done it, but I peeked out there.
That's the worst.
And this was the North Carolina Student Council convention.
Yeah.
So the auditorium
It's not a small
is
thing.
packed. I mean, it's people sitting on the stairs in the aisles, every seat full. And then I went, oh man. Shit. And then my nerves went, woo.
Now, what type of music were you playing?
I was
Was
about
this
to get
original
there.
music?
Yeah,
Or
well-
was this covers or?
We did mostly
That's good.
we did mostly original music, but then we didn't have enough to fill out the slot that they wanted us to. So we did Inner Sandman by Metallica and
Classic.
Simple Man, and then
Classic.
somebody, we weren't planning on doing this, but somebody in the audience, they yelled out Freebird.
There's always
I'm
that
that
one
guy.
asshole.
There
I
was.
am that asshole.
Yeah.
I am
So
that
we played
asshole.
it. We played Freebird, and that was the very last thing we played. When we went out and put the guitars on, it was silent, like dead silent. You could hear yourself breathe.
Ah, he didn't do it.
Crickets.
Yeah, we have a crickets button
Damn it, Jay.
for that reason.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
sitting there
yeah,
like
he's
you're
like,
watching
oh.
the episode, Jay.
He's just he's enjoying the conversation.
Damn it, hold on.
Hold on. I do the cameras. I'm supposed to watch the f***ing episode.
Go to timeout.
Get in timeout. Get in timeout.
You go to timeout.
No timeout.
Nobody
No
puts baby in
timeout.
corner.
No timeout.
So we started playing, and within moments of the first sounds, kids started to run down to what was normally reserved for the pit orchestra
Heck yeah.
in the theater, and I was like, "Oh, like, they're into it."
They like it.
And, yeah, and
Hey, Mikey,
again,
he likes it.
right. So all those nerves kind of like started to settle a little bit, and then by our second or third song, I was like, "This is that shit I want to do." And then
Yeah.
How
I've
many
never.
songs did you get in?
I think we had 6 songs, 7 maybe, including
Nice.
Freebird.
Right on.
And then it
They
was
were
over.
metal songs, correct?
No, it was like rock,
Oh, straight
Ju-
rock.
just
Okay.
straight rock.
Heck yeah.
And I was into like Metallica and Megadeth and Pantera at the time, but
Oh God, yes.
nothing into what I would later get into or am currently into.
Right.
It didn't exist back then either. That type of music wasn't. Like you had new metal in '99,
Right.
whenever this took place, or '98 even, and I was cool with that, but it wasn't really.
And like
my
as
jam.
creative as like a Wes Borland can be,
Mhm.
it doesn't really scratch that virtuoso itch that you need from like your metal. You know?
For a lot of it, yeah.
Yeah.
And when you're growing up, I mean, I think a lot of musicians get this or can get this kind of elitist mentality where you're listening to one thing and it's the best thing.
Yeah.
And then breaking outside of those boundaries that you set for yourself can be kind of difficult, and being more open-minded to what you're listening to
Right.
and really understanding that there's more than just the thing that you like at that time.
Yeah.
And I've battled with that through most of my adult life as a musician.
I
so.
felt like that was a benefit of being in the local music scene and getting so many friends that were musicians. Because you're right, like, you know, in high school I listened to mostly one type of music, not exclusively, but if you walked in my room, I was probably listening to alternative grunge, Nirvana, Pearl Jam, all that kind of stuff. But I still liked, you know, Johnny Cash, and I was even into some country from the '90s. I liked Garth
Right.
Brooks.
Same.
Ooh,
Come at
good
me.
Stuff,
No,
yeah.
that's what I
He's-
grew up on.
Yeah, Garth Brooks is great.
The dance. Oh my God, that's a beautiful.
But when I
song.
got into the local music scene, I'd meet people like these two guys that not only were open and they would listen to the. If I was like, "Hey, check this out! I heard this band," they'd listen to it. But they also brought it to me, like, "Check out this band," and like,
Right.
I don't think the circle that I'm surrounding myself around right now has any of that elitist mentality. But like, we've all been there.
Have
Like,
you guys heard of Flock of Seagulls?
Flock of Seagulls, bro?
Bro, Duran.
Have you? So have you kept up with saxophone at all?
No.
No?
No. After high school, I liked guitar so much more.
Yeah.
And to split my time the way I would have needed
would, yeah.
to do it. I remember all the fingerings for the saxophone.
Right.
I know how to play it, but I would not call myself, you know, a saxophonist
Right.
or anything now.
But if somebody handed you one, you'd be able to pull something out.
something. Yeah, and
I'm not saying we have one to hand you. But
thank God.
That would have been funny.
Well, here you go.
yeah, we know you're a guitarist, but here, tune on this.
That would have been great.
But
Man.
what that did for me though was being in band and in school helped me with the theory side of things. So
I imagine it did.
when I was a freshman, I was playing marching band, school symphonic band, guitar as a hobbyist outside of everything. And then there was a girl that I used to go to church then, and there was a girl that went there that I had a crush on. And it was spring or early spring of my freshman year. And she's like, you should go audition for Grease. And I was like, are you going to audition for Grease? She's like, yeah. It's like, oh, okay. I'll go audition for Grease.
We've all been there.
Sold.
And again, I was terrified to do that. I had never auditioned for anything the same way. The playing tests that I mentioned, those weren't really like auditions to me. It was, this is a thing that you're getting graded on. You've got to do this.
Right.
This was an elective thing for me that I was following around my crush, trying to, oh, if you're going to do it, I'll do it. And that day that they held auditions, I was chicken shit up until the very end. And there was a guy that was a senior, and I knew that he had gone in to audition for my part. And whenever he walked out, he was holding the folder that had the script for that part. So they had just like rushed him through. And then the school's chorus director came out and was like, oh, what are you doing here? Are you trying to audition? I was like, yeah, but you guys just gave away the part that I was going to audition for. He's like, oh, well, come on in. So they start going through everything. And because of being in band, I can sight read music. Right. So I read the song off the page. And there was a high note in it. So I'm a tenor 1. My range is extremely high, even still. Maybe not quite what it used to be, but it's still extremely high. And he was like, all right, we'll transpose this if we need to for you. I was like, well, I can hit that. And then so I hit the note without them transposing anything.
Sweet.
And then he got together with the theater teacher, and they called the guy back in front of me and took the folder for the part from him and handed it to me.
Yeah.
So I'm a scared freshman.
Yes, indeed.
I'm a scared freshman at this point, watching this senior have his part taken from him. And he did heckle me, but he started bullying me a little bit after that because I took his part.
Well, yeah, you stole his thunder, man.
I didn't mean to, though.
Straight up.
I didn't mean
Sucks
to.
suck, bro.
It does. That it does, man.
Yeah,
It
man.
does.
Well, and to be
That's
fair
hard.
as well, like he was a baritone, and so they were gonna have to change everything for him, and it made sense to them, and that started something else for me because I had never been in a choir ever up until that point, and they fast tracked me into the school's chamber singers. The next year it was me and 2 other guys and 2 or 3 girls that were freshmen that we bypassed having to do the 2 semesters of chorus,
Right.
and then the 2 semesters of, drama 1, drama 2, and we got to go right into the honors drama and chamber singers. And I didn't know what that meant at the time, but then I started auditioning for like honors choirs, like at the county level, then state, and then national level. And
Sweet.
I was an opera singer basically, and that's what I wound up going to school for and
That's crazy, dude.
learning the most of. I don't do that now, but what I learned from that is I wouldn't trade that for anything.
Right.
Those experiences and being able to go in. My dad had perfect pitch. I do not, but in jamming with him and having the knowledge of music and such, I can learn like that. And then things make sense to me.
Right.
And I know the Nashville number system. So whenever I've gone on, right. So I've gone on and done some session work for people. I've sat in with bands, and all I needed to know was what the chord sequence was.
Here comes the 4.
Exactly. And that is invaluable.
Right.
It's not necessary, but I'm thankful to have those tools.
It's not necessary, but man, you could get a lot of work knowing it. Just being not just knowing it and being able to do it on the fly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've been a fill-in musician for other bands before, playing classic rock, and like, I'm not a classic rock guitarist.
Right.
And what was funny is, filling in with that band, I showed up for the first practice, and I have my Ibanez S 7-string, and hey, it was tuned in E standard.
Goodness.
Tuned in E standard with a low A.
You're like, I brought this in case your bass player sucked.
So we played one show with them, and that was the guitar I used because I like it.
That's fantastic.
And then on the next show, I brought this one.
Nice.
And we're playing classic rock in bars, and the average age of the people in there is somewhere in their 50s, even 60s or so. So playing this headless 8-string, there were so many people that would come and be like,
They're
man,
like, your guitar is missing a piece, ain't it?
and they're,
That's an awfully thick one, isn't it?
what are you going to do with all them strings? I'm like, I'm probably not going to use all the strings.
Does that
And
thing play Freebird?
No, it plays Sweet Home Alabama.
Fantastic. Okay, so just I'm not even going to talk to him, but just to gripe about J-Dubs for a second. I was like, so what are we going to talk to Sam about, man? He's like, guitar theory. Opera singer, bro.
I don't know if he knew that. Yeah, I don't,
Saxophone.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
So I want to talk about your music a little bit. You've got some new stuff out.
Yeah.
You have do you consider yourself someone that has influences when you're writing, and do they change over time? And who was your current inspirations for the stuff you've been releasing recently?
Yes. What I'm listening to or who I'm listening to in a given period of time will definitely influence kind of the direction of things that I'm writing. And I make it a point to not directly rip off other artists or bands or anything.
Very easy to do that.
Well, in metal especially,
Yes.
so many things, like it seems like everything's been done. So
There's nothing new under the sun.
there's 12 notes anyway. There's only so many ways you can put 12 notes together.
Yeah.
And beyond that, it's writing what makes you feel good. And the people that I'm playing with, the drummer I'm playing with right now is actually the only drummer I've ever played metal with. It's the same drummer that was in the band that I was in whenever I first met Jason.
Wow.
And this is our 4th project. And like we're late 30, early 40s for both of us.
Right.
And it always made sense because he is an incredible drummer and he can play pretty much anything. And
Real fast for the people that don't know, go ahead and give your background on the bands that you've been in here locally.
So my first local metal band was a band called Of Life and Death, and it was with Lee Myers and Chris Seeley. Yep.
No,
And
guys, shout out, guys. Miss you.
Which is what I remember you from.
really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and back then I had hair down to my ass. Like I had super long hair.
That's why I didn't recognize you.
So, and I had like no beard. Every now and then I'd have like a chin strap or maybe just a little chin goatee or something. But I was 19, 20 at the time.
Right.
And we were
Weren't we
doing,
all?
yeah, we were doing, I guess metalcore really. But this was whenever the scene was really popping at the time. So it was the Tragic Hero bands were starting to take off, and a lot of them were more core than we were, and we were more metal. We liked more upbeat, fast tempo things, and then we would throw breakdowns in there. Yeah. And so we were a little bit different from them, but in that time, influences were like a lot of All Shall Perish and As I Lay Dying, like early All Shall Perish.
Yeah,
good stuff.
All That Remains, things like that were really fueling that. And then after that one, things happened as they do. And then part of the band went one way, part of the band went another way. It did, for sure. And then me and the same drummer and the guitarist started our second band immediately after, and we were called Defy the Hunter. And we got we were sharing a rehearsal space with this other band, and their guitarist was also a drummer, was also a bassist, was also like a death growler, and we didn't have a bassist all of a sudden, but we had the 2 guitars and a drummer, and he was like, well, I'll play bass. I'm like, hell yeah. So this was right after Colors, the original Colors from Between the Buried and Me came out.
Yes.
And we were like, we want to do something long and epic. It was still along that kind of metalcore vibe.
Mm-hmm.
We wrote the first song, and we just said, the song's over whenever it's over. And wound up being 19 minutes long. I mean, it was egregious. Like we had no respect for a song form or anything. We were like, we're gonna play this shit until it's done.
I'm pretty sure I
We
put
think
out.
we're Rush.
I think
Yeah.
I think I'm pretty sure I put out an EP that was less than 19 minutes.
So that was the one song, and that was all we had at the time. We were like, shit, we need a vocalist now. So we got put on. Remember the sound vent?
Literally have one song, but you can't do a 15-minute set.
No, we couldn't. But we could do a 20-minute set.
That's
Yes.
brilliant.
Yeah.
That's great.
So we got put on this festival by the guy that used to run the sound vent in Thomasville,
Oh yeah. What?
Chris. I don't remember his last
Remember his
name.
name either.
Yeah.
That's
He
been
put
too
us.
long.
Oh, it's been a long time ago. 2007, I think, is when this was.
Yep.
I missed
And,
that place.
Me too.
He started up. He had this festival going on. He was like, "Man, I'll put you on," because we wanted to go and play and be like, "Hey, we need a vocalist. Here's what our shit sounds like."
Yeah.
And then he was like, "Yeah, play between these two bands." So when it was time, the other band was like, "We're not letting them play." And we love that. We love when we're like, oh, you're going to rock star us? Oh, fuck yeah. We're going to play the shit out of this now. So we set up on the floor, and like their sound guy mic'd us up on the floor and everything. And we played our 19-minute long song. And we were like, we set up a mic in the front center. We're like, we don't have a vocalist. If anybody wants to get up here and scream your ass off, do it. And
Nice.
so our old buddy Jonah, he got up there and
Yeah, the
did some
sound
stuff.
band crowd loves
Yeah.
that too. dude.
Yeah, oh, they
Yeah.
did.
God, they eat that right.
They
up.
did for sure. And then Cowboy
Oh,
got up there.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
after that, Cowboy was like, so
We doing this or what?
we doing it? Yeah, basically. And then, I mean, we did it
That
up
was his
until we
style.
didn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we had 3 songs and had a little over 30 minutes of music in 3 songs.
Hell yeah.
And that was our show. And there's a version of that up on YouTube from when we played at
Beautiful.
Green Street. And it's the whole Green Street treatment that they used to do.
Kept
all
the same mindset with the show. Our set's over when it's over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that was
Hell
kind of
yeah.
how it was. And then that one went as bands do. And then I was like, I'm going to play some cover music now. I'm tired of not getting paid.
Amen.
Hey,
it
man,
is.
in Chaos
With that,
FM.
Let's go to our first commercial.
You are on point. You
Buy a
are
shirt.
on point. That falsetto, bro.
Oh, there's no falsetto there.
Definitely hear the Phil Anselmo reference.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Distant Fires.
So I can't, talking about singing, my falsetto is not as high as my chest voice. So all the high notes that are in that song
Whoa.
are like full chest voice that
My
I'm
God,
singing.
dude.
But to get up to some of them, like diaphragm control, like that's where I am really thankful about the training in the
Yeah.
choirs and everything.
Yeah.
Is learning the diaphragm control. So live, I'm hitting all that shit, and it's like it's just there. But whenever I hit the notes, if I were to do it in the room, you'd have to have the gain down on the interface.
Yeah, you
like
have to
on-
go all out.
Oh
for
yeah,
it.
I have to. I'm
I see you.
belting.
I
them.
understand. Yeah. I
Yeah, we
get
were
it.
jamming the other day, and the beard straight blasted me out. Was right in front of me and just gave me everything he had right in my face.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was an experience.
I'll do it again.
Watch this. Here, hold this.
Merry Christmas, ladies and gentlemen. Merry's Christmas. Merry's and Christmas.
Yeah. Get it together. Freddie. What was
So,
that?
Sam, I'm sitting here looking at this beautiful guitar that you have sitting here in front of us, and you have told. I heard you telling Beard about it while I was trying to ignore it because I wanted to bring it on the pod. For those of you that can't see this is a headstock-less 8-string guitar. Could you tell us a bit more about it and why you chose this particular guitar and why you love it so much?
Absolutely. So this is a Strandberg, and it's a Swedish company, and this one is an 8-string. It's called the Bowden Original 8, and it's multi-scale. Some people call it fan fret. And the scale length on the high E string side is 26.5 inches. And then the scale on the low, I've got the lowest string tuned to E. So it's the same pitch as like an open E string on a bass.
Re, right?
Yep, E just without the tone of it being a bass. And that end is 28 inches. So the scale length of it helps when you have those extra strings as well to keep the tension where it needs to be. So you don't have to run huge power cables for strings to be stable.
I feel you.
Right.
On a low E. And then
So what is your gauges on that?
So the options for this guitar suck. You either buy them from Strandberg, those are made by GHS.
Okay.
like
The boomers.
I hate GHS strings.
My
personally.
first guitar string.
Yeah, that was my first one as well, and
Hell
that's
yeah.
why I moved on.
Boomers tins.
Yeah, so, or you can buy them from Diodario. And I'm not the biggest Diodario fan, but the set that they make, it's the number, or letter, number, and then at the end it says SB, which is for Strandberg. So for the low string with the locking nut up top, the string has to be tapered at both ends. So it's got, if you buy it directly from Diodario, the taper is right where it needs to be. So it terminates behind the nut on this side and then past the bridge saddle on the bottom. But I'm a DR player. I've played DR strings for more than 20 years, and these fit the bill for what this does. But they're also $20 a pack.
But it is an 8-string pack.
I get that.
You buy it from them, and it's perfect for the guitar.
I was wondering if you did any kind of piecing together or tried any piecing together to try different gauge weights to see if you had any differences. Because I've never played a guitar with the fan frets on it, and I'm glad that you're here to explain it a little bit.
And from where I'm sitting, man, that low E string is looking mighty beefy.
It's pretty thickly.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. There is 4 different E's notes on that guitar, correct?
Five. Low E, normal E, octave. I guess 6 E notes, but it crosses 5 octaves.
Wow.
So, and I love
Science.
it. It's from low to high. It's EA, EADGBE. So 6 strings, just like a regular 6 string.
Oh, okay. So that's
Yep.
okay.
And then
I get it now.
what would normally be a B on a 7-string guitar, I've got tuned to A. So if you omit the lowest string, it's like a 7-string in drop A.
Right.
And that's what I always used to play on my 7 strings, which I still have a bunch of at home. They're all tuned to some version of like drop A or A flat, or I've got one that's in G. But beyond that, like, I don't really need to use any other guitar now, because anything I would do on a 6-string, I can do it on this one. And if I could do it on a 7-string, I can also do it on this one. I don't have to use all the strings, but I love using all
Sam
the strings.
said more strings are better.
I like the options. Yeah, I mean, if I've got my choice, I like the options. And I've played classic rock with this, and that was fun to see the look on people's face.
Now, a little bit of guitar porn real fast. Can you go over what it's made out of, the pickups, hardware, all that stuff?
Now, while you're picking it up, we weren't talking about it on the cast, and I just want to mention the neck shape on this guitar again.
Oh yeah,
because it's one of the craziest things. I was like, I know it's going to be light, but then I held it and felt the neck shape, and that was the thing
see
that caught my attention.
Yeah, we can kind of see it a little bit there.
Because the thick spot in the neck grades diagonally across from top to bottom,
right,
as opposed to staying in the center all the way down. And it's when you feel it. I've played traditional guitars my whole life, so it felt super weird in my hand, and I was like, this is beyond me. This is above my pay scale. I'm not ready for this.
Strandberg calls this the Endure neck.
Yeah.
And it's shaped like a trapezoid.
Yeah,
So
it is.
There's a flat spot, and it runs towards the bass side of the neck down low, and then it works its way towards the treble side of the guitar as you get up higher, and it's designed to keep your thumb properly anchored.
Right.
So whenever you're playing down here, you have the right clamping force for playing chords or riffs or anything, and then as you get higher up on the neck, where you'd be playing lead,
Yeah.
it helps you to keep proper hand.
Hey,
position.
Strandberg, you ain't special. J-Dubs has a flat spot too, you know.
So 26 and a half.
How you gonna play crickets after all you?
We
don't-
you
That
even
ain't
you
fair at all.
left.
You're a whole segment late. So low to high, 26 and a half inch scale, 28 inch.
Yeah,
Pickups are Fishman Fluence modern, so they are active.
yeah. I was just gonna
Nice.
ask.
Got
Yep.
Battery in the back.
Yep.
Is it coil tapped?
So one of the options is the coil tap. It's got push pull on both.
Oh,
the
both of
volumes.
them,
yeah.
They're both push pull with a 3-way selector. So the one on the tone is push pull for either modern or vintage, which is basically just either active or passive sound.
Right.
So pushed all the way in, that's like full active. You can hear all the compression.
And you've just got in and out, right? Or
Yeah.
are they three? Okay, because I've heard of some that have like 3 settings, and I'm like, I don't have that much.
Now,
I
correct.
can't.
Not
It's too
this
detailed.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Those pickups are digital pickups. You can go in and program those, correct?
Not with these, but I
No.
mean that's kind of what Fishman does to them. But the voicings that are on them,
Voicings. That's what I was
It-
looking for. Yeah.
they're set per pickup set.
What?
Right.
I don't even know what to say about that.
Yeah,
It's
It-
next level.
I've
dude.
never heard
it
of that.
really is. Yeah, it's wild, and
Digital pickups.
I didn't like I say it's kind of like an active pickup, but it can act as a passive too.
Yeah.
And then you can coil split with this one, so it's like full humbucker, or then you
We can get that twang.
Right.
Yeah,
Get that
for
telly
sure.
twang.
So you
Right.
put like middle position with it on the coil split, and it's got like that spanky, like the animals as leaders clean
Now,
tone.
and your
Beethoven
switch
and
is only 3 position.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So neck.
But
boat,
for the
bridge.
amount of, like, I mean, not that the guitar isn't out of this world, but those options on your hardware is almost standard, maybe a touch
Yeah.
more. But for the amount that you're getting out of those options is ridiculous.
It's a lot.
It's
it really
crazy.
is.
Yeah.
This can't sound like some other guitars. Like people are like, I can make this sound like a Gibson, or
Yeah.
this sounds like a Fender, or something like that. This doesn't really sound like anything else. It's kind of got
Yeah.
its own thing going on.
But it spans a wide range within its own thing.
It really
It's-
does.
That's
Yeah.
pretty wild.
So it can go, like my live clean tone, and I play through a Mesa rectifier. It's a dual rectifier roadster.
Of course you do. Of
course
course
you
you
do.
God dang.
And-
Hot damn, let's do it.
Yeah. Hit him again, J-Dubs.
Hot damn, let's do it.
I'm doing it.
Bangarang!
Wish I'd have known.
We
You'll
never
know for
know.
next time.
We never know.
So with the Mesa, like the one that I have has the clean channel out of the Lone Star. So
Yeah.
it's like crystal clear clean channel.
Nice.
And the way this guitar sounds versus my 7-strings, which all have upgraded pickups of various types, and they sound great in their own regard.
Right.
This thing has a sound that the other ones can't make. And playing what we play with Distant Fires, that's like, it fits what we do.
Right.
So when I'm on the clean channel, it is pristine.
What are you carrying around for a backup?
7 strings. I don't have a backup for this right now.
Feel ya.
Our other guitarist, I use his, but he's got a Schecter, like regular headstock 8-string. So
Like
I've
a
got that
Diamond
for
series or
backup.
something? Or?
No, I think it's C1 Hellraiser or something
Hellraiser.
like that, but
Nice,
the
okay.
8-string version.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think. And but other than that, I mean, I can play most of our stuff on a 7-string. So just because we have this string, it doesn't even appear in all of our songs.
Right.
It's just when we want it. And
Right.
the Fishman pickups are consistent every single time. And
Cool.
they help squash squeal for things like a rectifier wants to feedback, and
Yeah.
I've got it gated with I got everything that you would put on one that make it a metal sounding amp. I have all that stuff on there. So
What are you using for your modulation at all, like pedals and stuff?
I have a Line 6 Helix,
Sweet.
Nice.
and I don't use it for modeling.
You don't use it for
Really?
modeling?
Wow.
I could,
That's interesting. Why?
because I like my amp, man.
Because he's got that
I just-
Mesa.
Yeah, and I've had the Mesa since 2007,
Yeah,
and
dude.
I'll never get rid of it.
They'll
So-
never go out of style.
No.
either,
Yeah.
you know?
So
Especially those.
your project now is using live amps live, correct?
Yeah.
Oh, that is awesome. That is actually right now, man. No one's doing that.
I know.
Yeah, no,
one's doing that.
That's
we
it.
went to a completely quiet stage, and while I love a Mesa or a Marshall, like don't get me wrong, it's my back is grateful because
Oh, yeah.
you know, man, them amps are heavy, and
That's why all my stuff has wheels now.
yeah,
Yeah, there's definitely an argument for both sides,
Yes.
you know.
Mhm.
But as far as I feel, the person watching for the paying customer, you get more for your buck with live amps because you get that stage volume.
Like
It hits you in the face.
this
Yeah.
is gonna sound and feel horrible coming out of my mouth, but at the current place that I am in my life, and being in a cover band and having done original music for so long,
yep.
you want us to bring those half stacks and shit again?
We can
Then
do
make
that.
sure I leave with some money.
Yeah,
That's it.
it's gonna cost me.
If
a
I'm
little bit,
if
yeah.
I'm not like, and I'm all for giving the fans the show that they deserve to see,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, shit.
Love to break my Marshall back out. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Like,
Oh my god.
Yes.
yes, and I would love it. It'd be fun to do. But
Steve King, I know you're out there listening. You'd love it too.
Steve King,
Actually,
Get-
bro, we can make that a 2 full stacks.
I would love
With
to.
my
I've-
amps and
she
your amps
needs-
combined, we are
She
Captain
needs some
Planet.
work. She needs some work, man. I gotta go put some love into her. But yeah, I
Dale,
would love to do
DJL
that.
audio.
dude, I'll slap the 9200 together for you too, man. We'll do a split, do
God
stereo.
dang. My God,
I
Yeah,
love
dude.
it.
that's a
between-
mountain of tone, dude.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Yeah.
3 darts is too much.
My my
Yeah.
amplifier choice that I built was a Line 6 Pod Pro with a
Yeah.
Marshall 9200. And it's in pieces and all across my house. It's not even in
Yeah.
one place
Yeah.
right now. I've
I've
used
been
the
trying to
racks
buy the
for other
cab off
stuff.
of him for almost a year now.
As far as
I might
putting
actually
together,
sell my cab.
As far as
It's a
putting
great cab.
together rack heads for guitar tone goes, I have never come across one that I liked more than yours.
I spent a
Yes.
lot. Yeah,
I always enjoyed having a head, and
Don't
picking
we
one
all?
and dialing it in, and that's what I liked. So and for me, it was always either going to be a Mesa or a Marshall.
Yeah,
and I ended up with the JCM 2000. You know, the whole.
Yeah.
God, she a monster.
JCM 2000 is that I love it. It was my first
Yeah, dude.
amp,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
tube amp.
I'm about to
love it.
shout out the guy that helped us record some of our Distant Fires music. He was actually the guitarist that was in. So it said I have had the same drummer in
Right.
every metal band
Yeah.
so far. I've had the same other guitarist in every metal band as
That's
well.
hilarious. Nice.
So and he had to step out to some personal reasons earlier this
Yeah,
year.
life
but
happens.
It does. And,
Life.
But he's always played
Yeah,
a Marshall, JCM 2000, dual super lead.
you're
And
goddamn right.
TSL 100. Yeah.
straight across from my amp, whenever we were on stage together, the sound of those two
There's
blasting
a
a
wall
breakdown
of
at
Marshall just
Oh, it
slapping
just-
you in the face.
you. That's what I'm saying. Between both of them
Yeah.
and the way the Marshall sounds
Yeah.
mixed with the way
see
the
that
Mesa
that
sounds,
exact
it's just-
moment, that what you're just describing, is what I always wanted when, especially when we were together.
We always
And
tried to produce that.
That is
Yeah.
the reason. That is the reason why I had a BB Sonic Maximizer in my rack. Because when we got
used to
once
use
the
that.
venue got to the venue,
Mm-hmm.
I could hear how the amp sounded together, and I could just adjust those two little knobs
Yep.
and make it just go.
Yep.
I still feel that the only reason I was hired for a Light Divided was because I had the same amp that Eric did.
No, no, no. The number
Not
one,
entirely,
the number
but
one,
there might be something to that.
number one reason was desperation. Number two reason was lack of judgment. Number three.
How much time you got?
No, but that. Hey, to be fair though,
You gave him claps on that one. You gave me crickets earlier, dude. That was.
I'll give
that
J
wasn't
Dubs
fair at all.
his ALD flowers. That era of A Light Divided was completely unlike every other era of A Light Divided, for many reasons.
Yeah.
We brought the party.
There was a lot.
Unhinged.
Yeah,
We brought the party.
yeah. I can't even say anymore without incriminating people. So let's
Yeah, I
just.
was about to say. Anyway, moving on.
So the guitar weighs 5.5 pounds.
So
Hell yeah.
That's pretty much it, though. I mean,
I was-
it's flame maple top, roasted maple neck, standard guitar materials. Otherwise, great guitar.
Yeah.
Highly recommend. Not cheap, but
I guess the only other question I was thinking of about this one is, do you have your eye on a second one, and is it the same brand, or are you looking at something different?
And can you get them with all the pieces?
No, they don't make
And
that.
are you
I
going to
didn't
get
think
your
so.
signature model?
but let's help with views and streams on internet first. And then
Come on,
we'll see if they'll
Strandberg.
give it to me.
We're working on it. We're working on it.
We've been seeing your guitars in Guitar World since the '90s, and probably before that. Like, come on, Hook them up. No,
But yeah, I would love to have another one. So this one originally was supposed to be purple. I love the color purple in general.
Oh, yeah.
And it was on indefinite back order. And finally, they were like, well, we got a red one in. Would you change your order? 'Cause I'd waited like 4 months at this point for it. And I was like, send it to me. If I hate it, I'll send it back.
it's like halfway to purple.
Right. Just close enough.
Yeah.
So when it arrived, I opened it up the first time and just...
Would you like me to add some
Look at
blue
it.
to the lighting to make it look purple in here? We can.
I would not trade this for another one.
No, that
what I
makes
will do is add to it.
Even
Sweet.
if I was going to say, even if it was purple,
No, and I mean, I would... There's something that I like about this guitar.
That guitar.
specific
This
one,
specific
yeah.
guitar.
I understand.
I know,
Yeah,
definitely
I get it.
understand.
All of my guitars that I've kept are kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are budget model or like a $500 guitar that
Yeah.
I put pickups in and did all this stuff to.
It started as a $500 guitar.
It did.
Now
and
it's an
I
$1,800
love-
guitar.
Yeah, for sure.
Real fast though, everybody that's watching, I want you guys to look at the way it's shaped. It is literally sitting exactly in his lap so it doesn't fall or anything like that. That's how strategic they were when they were making this instrument.
Yep.
Engineered. Yeah.
And it's really comfortable to sit with it like
Innovative.
this.
Like he said, it was. We were laughing earlier, but it weighs hardly nothing. It's like what, 5 pounds,
And it's like 5.5
Yeah.
pounds, I
soaking
think.
wet.
This
Yep.
guitar is what happens when you have scientists that also play guitar.
Yeah,
That's accurate.
Yes.
Yeah, dude, I think he's... I might be speaking out of turn for that, but I think he was originally an engineer of some sort that then applied all the ergonomic stuff and figured out you can pay, and he makes what's called a made-to-measure guitar, and he brings you into Sweden
Whoa.
to the shop, and then he measures all kinds of things, and then custom makes that guitar for the person buying it. But they
Gnarly.
are wildly expensive.
I can't even afford to think about that.
I
5 figures.
right at I think
I'd
they're
be
like
willing to
9,
bet.
10, 11,000 something
Yeah,
like
I'd be
that.
willing to bet.
And I'm not spending that on a guitar. And I played this live. Like this is not a cheap guitar, but I bought this to play. it.
Yeah, I mean-
and I've got a couple of wall pieces at home
Yeah.
that I won't take out for that same reason, but they're not guitars that I would play out.
Right.
It's like
What's the most expensive guitar you own?
I have a 1965 Gibson ES-125T. It's no cutaway, thin hollow body, double arch
My
top,
God,
jazz
dude.
guitar. So it was my first guitar.
I bet you.
My dad
shred
gave it
that
to me.
thing.
Beautiful.
It doesn't play like you might think it could. It sounds great,
Yeah.
and the neck's kind of fast, but it's an old Gibson.
They're not meant
And-
to shred. Yeah.
No, this plays so much better.
Yeah, it's
Like-
a log with strings on it that sounds good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's beautiful. I mean, it's sunburst, and it's got the real tortoiseshell pick guard on it,
Nice.
and it is a beautiful guitar.
So the next question: how much?
Several thousand more than what this one is. With the
Fair
condition, we got it appraised back whenever my dad was alive, and what it appraised for then was enough for us to go, okay.
Put it back in the case. Put it back in
Okay.
the case.
Don't even look at it.
Yeah, I mean it's all original, everything on
Nice.
it. So
Yeah.
it's got the original Gibson case with it from then too, with like the
Right.
blue velvet.
Just
Love it.
just for reference, the most expensive instrument I've ever bought was $1,100, and it's that Telly hanging right there.
Oh, I like a Telly for some things.
Dude,
They
a
just
Telly-
don't like me.
The reason I was never even really a Fender fan, but the reason I got the Telly was because they're like one of two of the most versatile guitars ever made. That and like a Gibson ES 335.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the two most versatile guitars, and
Sure.
that was what I wanted it for. Its versatility, and
Well, there's
I
nothing like
love
a
that
Telly.
thing. Yeah, I love that thing, dude.
Most expensive instrument I ever bought is drums.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a
I had a drum set once, but it was a real cheap, shitty one. I didn't spend much at all.
yeah. I mean, the margin for the cost of a drum kit
Yeah.
versus the cost of a guitar is more like the whole guitar rig.
Yeah.
So-
and
Right.
it's like proportional to the same amount of time it takes you to set them up.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. For sure.
It takes a hell of a lot more
Yeah.
for a drum set.
Right. But again, I'm a lover of drums. So
Yeah.
our drummer in Distant Fires, he plays an acoustic kit, which is part of the reason why I'm sticking with the live amp too.
Yeah.
Like when we're in rehearsals, we get to get loud, and every week it's like heavy metal therapy.
That's fun.
Whenever
Yeah.
we get in,
I get it.
That is fun, man.
yeah.
I miss it.
So he hits just hard enough to really make you feel it too. So
Yeah.
as soon as he starts playing, I'm like, hit the chord on the guitar, and I'm just like,
Nice.
yeah, here we are.
Here I am, Tim the Tool Man, Taylor. Just
Yeah, yeah. And I can run direct. I can do all the things, but
Yeah.
I'm with modeling and everything, but I'm sticking with that amp for right now.
Hey man, right tool for the right job.
There
You
it
know what I'm
is.
saying? Yeah.
With that being said, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back, and I think we need to hear this guitar.
Sam's gonna
yeah.
you do a playthrough for us when we come back from break.
Happy
You
to.
guys check this out when we get back from this awesome video that I filmed of me doing something. I filmed myself editing the video. Top-notch entertainment from Ready Set Radio.
Indictment of electric claws, the gaping malls, the silent halls, the fall of us all. Turn around and see through different light. The blue ship like the endless night is waiting plugged into your wall.